and you get ready for the game on Friday in Dallas against the Mavericks. And the great thing about this month of December for your Portland Trailblazers is that there's a lot of games on the schedule that you look at and think, well, there's a good chance for a win. There's another good chance for a win, and they're going to have a chance to really pad themselves in the standing. And they deserve it after what they went through over the first month and a half of the season, where their schedule was brutal. The travel schedule was tough, and guys were exhausted in fatigue with the travel and with the basketball. So the Blazers get the win tonight, 128-112. Fifth quarter, your telephone number here, 503-248-0620. 503-248-0620. The Blazers got out of the gates fast. They dropped 39 points in that first quarter. They won the second quarter and were cruising going into the third before they got a little bit sloppy, but they tightened things back up in the fourth and scored 31 points and got the victory tonight. So this is really what the NBA is all about. You're not going to play your best basketball every single night. You're not going to play hard-nosed defense for 48 minutes. That's just not the way the NBA works. So what you do is you put together long stretches of playing good basketball, and you go out there and you scratch out wins, and you continue to move forward. And what I like so far about the Blazers this year is what they've been able to do so far on the road. And keep in mind, in the NBA, it's critical that not only do you find ways to win on the road, but you also dispose of the scrubs in the NBA. Take advantage of the easy games that are on the schedule. But so far this year, Portland has done a heck of a job away from the Moda Center. They're now 9-6 away from home, which is terrific. If they can go 500 or better throughout the season on the road, that's a good thing. They're just 7-6 at the Moda Center. But I think what's nice right now is just having Dame back in the lineup, having more of their guys back healthy. According to multiple reports, we're going to see Gary Payton II, fingers crossed, in the next week or two. And then you look to get Nasir Little back. But like I mentioned before, I just want to see what this team can do fully healthy over the course of 3 or 4 weeks to see what it looks like, to see what the rotation is going to look like, and just some of the different combinations that Coach Billups can throw out there on the floor. But the Blazers took care of business tonight, and that's what you need him to do. And it wasn't just Dame, who obviously really was the meal ticket tonight with 37 points. There were multiple guys who were able to contribute and make a contribution. Over 34 minutes of action for Jeremy Grant tonight. He had 18 points and 4 rebounds, 7 of 13 shooting. Yusuf Nurkic tonight, 15 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. An efficient night for Nurk. He was 5 of 8 from the floor. Anthony Simons shot the ball well, 23 points, 5 of 9 from 3. And then off the bench, how about Shaedon Sharpe tonight? 12 points in 23 minutes. He was 5 of 7. And Drew Eubanks, look out. Mr. Drew, 7 points, 5 boards. He was 3 of 3. And he's now 11 for 11 from the field over his last 3 ball games. I mean, the guy is so consistent. He finishes at a high rate around the rim. And it's got to be great if you're Chauncey Billups to know when you put that guy on the floor what you can pencil him in for. He's going to play really hard. He's going to give me maximum energy. He's going to bring toughness to the floor. And he's going to finish at a high rate around the rim. I continue to marvel at Drew Eubanks because, one, they've got him on a cheap deal, the vet men. And he just plays really hard. And like I said, I think it's a good thing to have him behind Nurk because for the first time in his career, Nurk has someone behind him that the coaches truly trust in basically any situation. So if Nurk's having an off night, they'll put Eubanks out there, and he'll collect some of the minutes. And I think Nurk needs that type of pressure behind him to push him to continue to strive to be better. And that's what it's all about. So you can jump on board if you want, 503-248-0620. Chris Burkhardt is here. He's double producing. We've got our YouTube live stream up, which give you a peek behind the curtain. So you can jump on YouTube, go to our homepage, Rip City Radio, and click on the live link, and you'll be able to see what's going on behind the scenes. And, of course, you can also click to subscribe. We got a lot of content up there with different interviews, different parts of the show, and we're going to live stream the fifth quarter throughout the entire basketball season. Blazers get the win tonight, 128-112. We'll keep things rolling here on the fifth quarter. 503-248-0620. We're going to hear from Coach. We'll hear from some of the players and continue to break down the victory tonight. But the Blazers doing what they need to do, getting a win to kick off the road trip in San Antonio against the Spurs. What more can you ask for? 503-248-0620. It's the fifth quarter here in your home of the Blazers, 620 Rip City Radio. Well, I've noticed, Burkhart, that there are people on the YouTube chat right now who are recognizing that they're excited about the game in Houston because Dame likely will break Clyde's all-time scoring record for the franchise, and he'll be there. Dame will be there, and they'll be able to share a moment. People are starting to recognize that. I hope it happens. And the 37 points tonight puts him well on his way. So there's a good chance to do that, and hopefully Burkhart will be able to do some quick math and give us the average of what he's going to have to get done between the game in Dallas on Friday and then what will be left for the game against Houston on Saturday to break Clyde's record. It's got to be done there. If he's going to do it, you got to do it there with Drexler in the house, right? You got to.
You would think. He needs to average 35 and a half.
Oh.
He's 70 away.
Easy.
He's doing the job, baby.
Easy. Drop 40 on Friday against Dallas and make it easy for yourself.
Yep.
He'll do it.
Do it.
And he's in a great groove right now.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'd like to say that I'm thankful that I got the haircut yesterday because I look much better on the YouTube live stream now. My hair was getting a bit out of control. Just a bit out of control, Burkhart, but now I'm starting to feel a little bit better there in front of the camera.
Yeah, my hair is out of control, so it's fine. But you know whose hair wasn't out of control? Looks like Drew Eubanks might have hit his San Antonio barber before the game. The fade was looking nice.
I like that. It was. It was looking clean.
Yeah.
Do you think guys do that? Will they stop somewhere on the road and do it, or do you think they, like most people, will only go to the person they trust? Or do you have multiple people in multiple cities because you travel that much as an NBA player?
Oh, no, you know that they have their guys. They have their guys, probably multiple in multiple cities, but they have the guys that they prefer, man. The people that they prefer for sure.
Is that the best way? If it can't be done at Moda Center, isn't it best in front of Clyde? Like, that's perfect, is it not?
There's not a better chance. There's
Well,
not a better way.
think about what the odds are of that happening. Like, the way it's going to play out like that it's just going to happen to go down in Houston with Clyde Drexler in the house. Like, that's freaking perfect. Because there's no way they could have gotten Clyde to come up to Portland on the night that Dame was going to break his record.
No, he's a busy man. He's a busy man.
I'm down with Clyde. I love Clyde. But I'm happy that Dame's going to get a chance to do it, and I love his reasoning for it. He's like, hey, when people walk through these doors, I want them to know that I was the best to do it in a Trailblazer uniform. Don't you guys like that? I think that's perfect. But Dame was feeling it tonight. The Blazers, they got sloppy. It got a little blazery there in the third quarter. But, the Spurs, that's the best part about the NBA. You're going to run into teams that are squarely focused on tanking. They're not going to say they're tanking, but we all know what they're focused on. Victor Wembanyama. And the Spurs, they're just a bad basketball team right now. A lot of youth. They're not focused or really worried about winning basketball games right now. The Blazers went in and took care of business. And I really like what the Blazers are doing right now. They're in a nice little groove. And, that's the way the season goes. A lot of ebbs and flows throughout the course of the year. But look what they've done of late. The Blazers have now won 5 of their last 6 games. At Dallas Friday, at Houston Saturday, back-to-back games in Oklahoma City on Monday and Wednesday of next week. And they close out the 6-game road trip Friday, just a couple of days before Christmas in Denver against the Nuggets. And what do we always say about road trips? 500 or better. But with this road trip, you think at least 4 wins. The 2 toughest being at Dallas Friday, at Denver on the 23rd. You should be able to at least get 4 wins, you would think. And I think the game on Friday against Dallas is going to be nice. It gives them a rematch against Luka. And if you recall, that first game in Dallas this year, they struggled in the fourth quarter defending Luka. And now they're going to have better options in terms of bodies they can throw at him. And it's good for them to get a chance to see how they'll handle that situation differently to bounce back, to have a better plan against Luka. And little things like that can help prepare you for what's coming later in the season as well. All right, let's go out to the phones. I want to hear your voice. The Preacher's hanging out. Preacher, what's going on, my man? Welcome to the 5th quarter.
Yo, man, show me your blazer.
Show me your blazer.
Woo!
What's up?
Man, great game. I appreciate you bringing me on board. Man, I can't tell you how proud I am of the Blazer Nation. We're totally keeping up with, what I think is a very likable team. The product's really good. The draft pick's been really awesome to watch. Like, I can't just I stare at him all the time, just hoping and wishing and just seeing that he's actually what he is, very good at athletically and clearly makes his shots on target. So, at age 19, I only hope that the Blazers did what I consider the steal of 2022 or 2021. With that said, I got to tell you, I got to ask this question. Do you have Christmas lights or holiday lights up in that YouTube live video right now?
No. I've got I don't know what you call, what are these lights called, Burkhart, that's on my grill right now?
These are just simple little studio lights. Yeah. Get them on Amazon.
I kind of have a problem with this because, gentlemen, I used to be in a fraternity, and these guys, I used to be called, unfortunately, the Godfather myself. I didn't want to tell the Godfather that because it took me, like, a long time to graduate. Long story short, I was like, man, let's get some lights, because if we're going to invite girls over, maybe some lights, some aesthetics. Where's that Drazen Petrovic jersey, that Arvidas Sabonis jersey, FYI, you know what I'm saying?
No, I got you, man. I got you. Like, what was
Okay,
your
okay.
what was your
Yeah.
fraternity house? What was it set up like?
Well, what's funny is all the young guys would always invite all the girls in the wrong light settings, and they wouldn't have the right music on. There's no ambiance. So I'm like, when I look at Howard Stern, I'm like, man, well, there's a lot of eye candy / a lot of good aesthetics, and I'm like, well, I have yet to tune in because I'm a 620 homer here on AM radio. I can't wait to tune in on this YouTube thing because I'm like you, I live it.
Well, dude, you got to be on it, man. It's pretty cool to be able to flip on YouTube now and be able to check out what's going on in the studio. If you can bear, 30, 40, 60 minutes looking at my face.
No, I can't wait. So I can't wait. So next time, when Lillard passes Clyde, hopefully in Houston, I'll totally zoom in on that and break ice there, and hopefully everything is. Because I want to send you a Michael Jordan telephone. I have this one huge collector's item that I want to send you because it has a phone and Michael Jordan's. It's huge, but it's like, dude, if you get the aesthetics right, I can't wait to send it there.
Okay, well, what is it? It's a phone?
Well, yeah, the preacher's wife will send you a picture. But FYI, what about our Eubanks guy, the Bill Lane Beer? I have a name for him. Possible. You want to hear it?
Yes.
Okay, the Eubanks slingshot from Troutdale.
The Eubanks slingshot from Troutdale.
What do you think?
Brought to you by Tillamook Cheese or something like that. Make it longer.
all right. I mean, let's be honest. It's a great collaboration. I hope people call in and put their storm on it, man. Love you guys. Go Rip City. Chad Doing, the best.
You're the best, man. Give your best to my wife, too, or your wife. Give my best. That came out wrong. Give my best to your wife. There's the preacher right there, 503-248-0620. That was too long. The slingshot, I had both when I was younger. I got in a lot of trouble with the slingshot, the old school one that you whip around and release, and then I had the wrist rocket, too. Broke a lot of things, upset my Nana on multiple occasions. It seems like a good idea, but boys just can't resist themselves. They get into trouble with that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. How far away can you shoot that rock?
Because we used to, on the wrist rocket, man, you could, with that surgical tubing, man. It's
I had one of those, yeah. It was more like, how far can I pull this back before it decides to snap right back at me?
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm going to shoot myself in the head. I have no idea how my brother and I didn't kill one another when we were younger. The stuff we used to do. It's ridiculous.
You're just resilient, that's all.
Oh, my goodness. Crazy. Well, what'd you think about the game tonight? I mean, not the most exciting basketball game in the world, as you would expect with the Blazers and Spurs, but I mean, I got to be honest with you, just win games on the road. I don't care how it looks. Just get the W and move on. They did that.
Yeah, it's kind of it had its ups and downs. I didn't like the end of the third into the fourth there where they let them get back, ended up being about a 4-point game, right? So that was frustrating. But I also liked that they were able to bounce back quickly from that little San Antonio run and make it a 20-point game again relatively quickly rather than letting it linger around. So still some things to work on. I think you got to put those teams away early. That should have been a game, Chad, where Dame and Ant and those guys, none of them had to see the court in the fourth quarter at all.
I agree, especially when you've got a game coming up against Dallas, which is going to be much more challenging on Friday. You want to see your guys take advantage of an opportunity to get some extra rest. And I guess the part, if you want to nitpick, Chauncey, it's what he got ticked off, about the other night. It's like these stretches they go through where they don't pay attention to detail, they don't contest, they don't defend the way they're supposed to, and you let teams get back in the games with sloppy play. They've got to cut that crap out.
Yeah.
Because those are the stretches that get you beat against good basketball teams.
You can get away with it against San Antonio. You might not be able to get away with it against Luka, and they're not even a great basketball team right now.
But the Spurs still shot around 50% for most of the night, and they shot a pretty good percentage from three, and that's, I don't know. I want to see the Blazers take a little more of a serious approach to the defensive end because you got to tighten it up. If you want to become a better team, you got to tighten it up on that end of the floor. Let's take a look at the latest NBA defensive rating for the Trailblazers. I'll let you know where they're at and how things are looking right now. they've had that slippage. Right now, still 24th in the NBA. 24th in the NBA in defensive rating. They got to be better than that. I mean, look at the teams that are at the top. Milwaukee, Cleveland, New Orleans, 3 of the best teams in basketball right now. Philadelphia, Memphis, the Clippers, Miami, New York, Chicago, and Toronto.
So the good defensive teams?
Yeah.
The teams that we know are good?
They got to tighten it up. That's what's got to get done. 503-248-0620. We'll keep things rolling here on fifth quarter. You can still jump on board if you'd like. And we'll give you a scoreboard report and let you know what went down in the association tonight. And when we come back, we'll hear from Coach Billups and get his take on what took place tonight in San Antonio. Blazers get the win 120. All right, fifth quarter, Chad Doing and Chris Burkhardt with you. Telephone number 503-248-0620. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. We'll get to our drive of the night here in just a moment, but let's check in with Blazers coach Chauncey Billups after Portland's win to kick off the 6-game road trip the right way in San Antonio tonight.
They did that, but I thought it was a very, very quality win for us.
So that stretch when they made a run and get down 6 or 5 or something like that, was that them playing well or you guys not doing good?
You can always say both, but I'm gonna always say it's us not doing what we were supposed to do. Just kind of let off the gas a little bit, turned it over a few times, gave them easy baskets, got confused in our communication in the half-court defense, and they made us pay. So flip side of that is, they did a good job of trying to do what they wanted to do.
I know it's not easy for Dame out there, but it looks like he's basically getting anything he wants. How would you kind of assess, particularly offensively, how he's playing?
Yeah, he's in an incredible zone right now. I feel like his pace, his change of speed is so good right now. In the pick and rolls, he's keeping the defense off kilter so well by way of, obviously he's such a threat to shoot it from wherever, but he's getting to that basket and he's making the extra play, the passes for our team. He's setting an incredible tone for us every night.
Talked about this already, but seeing again tonight, him being off the ball really at San Antonio, guessing where he's going to be and not knowing.
Yeah, it's something that I don't think he's been able to do very much in his career, other than kind of now, was just kind of playing off of the ball, but us still kind of playing through him off of the ball, and him not just kind of standing there chilling. Like, he's moving, doing a really good job of moving off of the ball, coming back to it, and then playmaking from that spot, which is kind of new for him. And it's a great weapon for us, especially when you have Ant with the ball in his hands, him being aggressive as well.
I think the last 5 games, at least 4 games, you guys were first in offensive efficiency, and that's a small sample size. But is there anything you guys are doing now that you maybe weren't doing 7 or 8 games ago? Is it just about having everyone healthy?
Oh, I think health is always a big deal. You're not going to have number one efficiency if your best player is not playing. So you got to give him a lot of that credit, but we're pushing the pace. I feel like we've made a real effort to, every time we get it, just go. Don't worry about the play calls, just go, and just hoop, play together, play the right way. We know who we're playing through, and our role players have been incredible at understanding who they are and who they aren't, and we're just playing the right way.
I guess kind of same thing defensively. How do you feel like you guys are doing that?
Yeah, I think our defense is picking up. Yeah. It really is. We had some slippage that we've talked a ton about, but I think it's picking up. Our activity is up, our communication is up, and again, I think health helps with that.
Just ask about the defense, especially the early on. Is that kind of what you want to see, the energy in that first half?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. We came out very focused again, and we talked a lot about it this morning, is we need to be very focused. We're going to play against a team that's hitting on some high cylinders with the Spurs before this game. So I thought we did a good job of taking that talking this morning to the court and set the tone for our team in the first half.
All right, there's Coach Billups. I love it. He called the guys out and said, hey, that's on us, that third quarter nonsense, the sloppy play and, letting them back in the game and taking our foot off the gas. That's on us. And he's right. No excuse. But, again, it's the San Antonio Spurs. You're up big. It's easy to lose focus for just a moment. But they tightened it back up, got the win, double-digit victory, and they move on. That's how the game's supposed to be played. 503-248-0620. Let's get to our drive of the night.
It's time for the Portland Trailblazers Drive of the Night, here on the fifth quarter, hosted by Chad Doing, 620 Rip City Radio. Drive of the Night is brought to you by Dick's Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram of Wilsonville, ready to compete with the lowest prices in town.
Here's Vassell, turns, fades, missed it, and it's tipped into the hands of Damian Lillard. He ups the ball to Josh Hart. He drives, lobs it for Sharp, and he stuffs it in with two hands. He grabbed it with his left, and he slammed it down with both.
Boy, my man Travis struggling with the voice again. I'm feeling you, buddy. Feeling your pain, bro. 503-248-0620. Blazers get the victory tonight over San Antonio. They have won 5 of their last 6. They'll move on to Dallas and get ready for Luka and the Mavericks coming up on Friday night. Let's go out to my man Kiernan. Kiernan, welcome to the 5th quarter, brother.
Hey, Chad. Hey, how's it going?
Very well. 5 out of 6 now for Portland.
Yeah, 5 out of 6. Yeah.
And how about Dame? We were talking about this, Kiernan, but what about Dame? It looks like
sure was great to see. Yeah, sure was great to see Dame play tonight.
Yeah, 37 points, and he's got a chance to break the all-time scoring
record
for the franchise in front of Clyde Drexler in Houston this weekend. How awesome is that?
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's perfect timing to have it take place potentially in Houston, but the Blazers got the win tonight. Dame is on a hot tear.
Yeah, they did. I know they took the gas off a little bit, but at least they got the win tonight.
That's right. And how about Dame? Last 4 games, averaging 37.8 points and shooting better than 50% from 3, 54% from the field.
Yeah, that's quite something. Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful, man. I love what they're doing right now.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful is the way to put it.
I think so. So what else jumped out at you tonight?
What else? Just seeing Jeremy Grant and just seeing all of them playing tonight. Anthony Simons,
Yeah, Simons 23 points. He looked nice, and Grant 18 points on 7 of 13 shooting. It's a much easier game when Grant, Ant, and Dame have it going.
Yep.
Well.
And also Drew Eubanks too. Yes.
Oh, dude, I looked it up. Last 3 games, he's 11 of 11 from the field.
Yeah, Drew Eubanks. Yeah, he's pretty good too.
You got any thoughts on a nickname for Eubanks, Kiernan?
No, I don't. I'll try to think of one, and next time when I call in, I'll try to think of one for you.
All right, that sounds good, buddy. I love talking with you,
Kiernan. Great day to be a Blazer. Yeah,
great day to be a Blazer. All right, there's Kiernan. Let's go out to Ron in Salt Lake, my man. Merry Christmas, Ron. What's up?
Chad, Merry Christmas, my friend. I hope that the elves bring you some Pro V1 golf balls. Some good stuff to get you ready for the golf season.
Oh, dude, I was walking through the golf store tonight, and I was making a little Christmas list for myself of different things I wanted to purchase. So I'm pretty excited.
Well, I'll tell you, every single year, I go on to Titleist.com because you can customize these golf balls, right? And I get a dozen for my boys, and I put some crap on their balls, custom stuff, and then but for me, I always get myself some, and I always put Rip City on it.
I love it.
So that I always know, where my golf balls are. But
that's good.
Hey, I got a few comments. Hey, to Eubanks, right? I don't have a nickname, but I've got some whiteboard brainstorming ideas that I think you guys need to kick around to come up with something.
All right.
So you know how you go on Bleacher Report or wherever, and you see they show these Sprite, things where these guys are walking into the stadium, and it shows their, what they're wearing and, all the cool clothes they've got on, and they're showing Dame and Grant and all these guys that are decked out. The thing I love about Eubanks is he looks like he just woke up in the morning, hasn't done one thing to his hair. He's got some old T-shirt on usually. Like he's got like a pair of jeans, and he's got like some big flannel coat or something. And I love it because Ron, the guy is just...
Ron, we need to respect our Troutdale King. He was rocking a Ken Griffey Jr. shirt today, and I liked it, okay?
No. Listen, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. I love it. I love that he does that. So you got to come up with something around, maybe we call him T-shirt or flannel or blue jeans or I don't know, something. But I just love that about Eubanks. He's authentic. He's true to himself, and he plays exactly how he is off the court, where he's just a freaking dog, wakes up, doesn't care what he looks like, and just comes to the gym and balls out. I love that about him.
He's terrific, man. He's blown me away, Ron, because I thought he was a nobody. And, hey, you want to put him on the bench as a third center on a vet men, fine. But He's so much more than that. He's consistent. I think the coaches trust him. And now, finally, there's someone behind Nurk who can put pressure on him when he's going through the lackadaisical play that we see from time to time with him. So I think it's great to have someone who's formidable, who the coaches trust, that can put pressure on Nurk to play better. It's good.
Yeah, no question. And you know what? The guy is a freaking athlete. You know, you look at what he did in baseball, you look at what he's done, and he's got the hops, he's got the attitude, he's just got everything, so I love him. But another comment I wanted to make, you recall, Chad, but several weeks ago when the Godfather could not answer a freaking question that you asked him about when are you going to gauge this team, and he didn't have an answer. He said he'd do it by the end of the season, which is a god-awful answer. But
it was terrible.
So it was terrible. And I said, if you remember, I said by Christmas. Christmas is when we're going to know about this team. And I've always thought that the most important thing with the Blazers the last several years has been health. If we can stay healthy, I think this team has the potential to do something special. Now, healthy means we get Peyton back. We've got to get Peyton back because I think he is the final piece to really, really get a gauge as to whether we've got to do something at the trade deadline or not. And I want Cronin to have a good month and a half, a good 20 games at least, where he can look at this roster with a full roster with GP3 and really see what we've got, because I think Cronin wants that. I think he really wants to be able to judge this team for a good month at least before he can decide if he's got to do something at the trade deadline. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think what's going to happen, based on where they're at right now, they know if they make the playoffs, they're going to miss out on their draft picks. So if they're in a position to truly contend in the West and you're getting close to the trade deadline, I think you've got to go all in and make a move to put this team in a better position to go to the next level so you can make a serious run. That's where they're at. You have to.
Yeah, I agree. And here's the other thing that's kind of cool about the West this year. There's so much parity, but I really think if you look, it's like the balance of power as far as like the dominant teams have kind of shifted a little bit to the East. I mean, we've normally had the Warriors that have dominated and so forth, but finally this year, there's not a lead dog, no one that has separated themselves that's totally dominant that you say, you know what, there's no chance we cannot beat them in the playoffs. I don't think there's a team like that. So health is number one. We got to stay healthy. We got to get GP3 back. We got to really see what this roster can do, and we'll see what happens. But that's all I got, man.
You're the best, dude. I love you, Ron. Ron in Salt Lake, big Blazer fan. He goes to Titleist and gets the specialized golf balls that say Rip City on it. And that's because he's surrounded by a bunch of annoying Jazz fans, and he's got to make sure that they know he's all Rip City when he's out there on the golf course with them. Let's go to Charlie in Vancouver. Charlie, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you, sir. Awesome game and awesome show. I was wondering if you caught a part of Chauncey's interview when he said, I love what my role players are doing. They understand who they are, and then he slid in and who they aren't. And that was the most important thing he said all night, and I hope you guys understand that. It's why we don't need another, we got to have more scoring at the three, whatever. No, when we need to score, Josh Hart can score. But what he's saying when he says that is, I don't need five guys. You heard him say, we run without running plays, we run through who we're running through. And then ball can kick back. But other players, role players, have to be, in a sport like this, soccer too, unselfish enough to take the team first, because it's not the five best players on the team. I mean, I wish people would understand that. We don't need a more of a scoring at this and more of a scoring at that. If we did, that means the ball's in Dame and Ant and Grant's hands less. Now, if we didn't have three scores, absolutely we need that.
Okay, what they need.
Then I also wanted
hold on for a second, Charlie. I don't know why you always have to go down this road with me. Okay, let me ask you this question again.
Sorry.
If they approach the trade deadline and Joe Cronin's going to make a move to improve the roster, which position do you think he's going to attack first? Because I know.
I like what our last caller said. If we don't have Peyton, I think we need a defensive guard, honestly.
Okay, they have Peyton. They're not going to go after defensive guard. What's? Let me be more specific. Which spot in the starting lineup would they look to upgrade if they're going to make a run at something come trade deadline time?
Oh, Dame spot. No, I don't want to get hung up. I'm just kidding. Nurk,
No,
I guess.
It's going to be, they need, here's the problem with Josh Hart. He's not a threat to hit the three-point shot, and come playoff time, when defense is key, what are they going to do with Josh Hart? They're going to leave him open, and they're going to have more bodies to throw at Dame and Ant. That's exactly what they're going to do. Josh Hart is terrific, but he is not the ideal starting three, not to mention he's undersized. So if you can get a bigger three who shoots a better percentage from three-point range that can keep the defense more honest, of course they're going to do that. It's not a knock on Josh Hart.
I understand Chad, I understand what you're saying. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. But you understand what I'm saying, but yet you always bring up this
I
whole
do.
thing
I
about
totally
Josh Hart
understand
every
what
time you
you're
call
saying.
in.
I do. I'm just understanding you to please accept the chance that there's a chance that coaches, if they got you together in a room, would say, no, man, it is important. Understanding the role is more important. I don't want a guy who shoots 4% better because then he thinks he's taking more shots, and he'd be taking it from these guys.
No, that's
exactly
not true.
what he's saying, and that's
no.
why. Okay. Well,
you need someone that shoots better than
30%
30% from three at the three spot. You need someone, if you're going to compete for a championship, you've got to have better than 30% from that spot.
Okay, I would, I agree with what you're saying.
Because I know I'm right. That's
it's
the spot they're going to look to upgrade. The only reason why Josh Hart is starting at the three is because they made a calculated choice during the offseason to draft Shaedon Sharpe instead of trading that pick to upgrade his spot. That's the only reason why he's starting.
So you think that Chauncey and Dame are both blowing smoke when they say, Josh Hart is the man. Josh Hart, da-da-da.
No, they know he's the man.
I'm telling you, dude.
They like him. He is the man. He's a great teammate, and he works hard, and he does a lot of different things on the floor. But he is not the ideal starting three. Look at his career.
Okay, well.
He has not been a starter the majority of his career.
I'll go back to. Oh, okay.
But he hasn't.
No,
but I'm saying that if you look at his career, he has not been a starter the majority of his career.
Okay. I guess we'll talk about this more on the golf course so it wouldn't sound more like an argument. And
no, but this is talk radio. It's okay to argue about things. But you always bring it up. Don't bring it up and then try to walk away from it. You bring it up every time you call in.
Well, I won't walk away from it then. Right now, I'll ask you to sit down with any real high school or college or professional basketball coach and away from the air, and they'll say chemistry is more important, and I'll take a guy who can shoot less because he'll share the rock more. Any coach will tell you that. I guarantee if you've got three stars who can score, that's why they're leading the team in the NBA in scoring right now.
Yeah, that worked really well when they had Al-Farouq Aminu and Mo Harkless, guys who couldn't shoot the three and come playoff time.
Are you comparing those guys with Josh Hart? Come on.
They didn't shoot the three ball, and what did teams do? They sagged off of them and threw more guys at Dame. That's the problem.
Watch. Josh Hart will shoot a heck of a lot better than those guys, and he won't have to because he'll be dunking. He won't be standing in the corner. He'll slide down, and he'll be making basketball plays, which is what he does, and that's why one of the reasons that they're doing so well, and that's why their chemistry is so good. But I'm sure they're bored with this, and I'm sorry, I'll never bring this subject up again. But I wanted to know if you saw the interview.
Charlie, I'm not upset at you for bringing it up, but if you're going to bring it up, we're going to have the discussion. I'm just telling you that Josh Hart is not the ideal starting three.
Did I give you my opinion and why? And can we at least respect each other's opinions and say you may be right
I respect
or
your
you
opinion.
May be right,
I just disagree with you. I allow you to call into the show, Charlie, and talk. I respect your opinion. I disagree wholeheartedly. So I respect your opinion. I just disagree.
Wondering if you caught it as far as the under. Okay, let's talk more than Josh Hart.
I did. I understood because you're always trying to find one little soundbite to try and prove me wrong.
I wasn't even going to bring up Josh Hart tonight. I was bringing up the team.
You brought up Josh Hart.
You said Josh Hart.
You brought him up.
Role players.
You brought him up, and you're like, I hope you caught on to this. I knew exactly what you were doing. I don't know why.
I didn't. Yeah, I hope you caught on to the fact that he appreciates his role players. Justice Winslow.
Yes, exactly. Josh Hart is a role player. Yes, and he would be best suited as a sixth man. Yes, he would be best suited as a sixth man.
And they are all role players, and they understand that, and that's why they play that way. But you can say he's best suited as a sixth man. We can agree to disagree.
Well, I mean, his career would prove that because he spent more time as a sixth man than he has as a starter. So, I mean, He's been a six-man throughout his career. He is starting out of necessity because they made that choice to draft Shaden Sharp.
Okay, you're right, and I'm going to end it with we'll see. Because we'll see, maybe they'll get somebody better, and they still won't start. Maybe they'll want to bring that offense off the bench. You never know. It's possible, Chad, that guys like John Hustis was an all-state high school basketball player who came off the bench for Butch Blue because Butch Blue knew that his team played better when he came off the bench. That chemistry and the way they use guys is sometimes not the five best guys on the court at the beginning of the game. It's possible. Possible. Now, can I also bring up the interview after the game with Josh Hart and Justice Winslow when she asked, what did you think about how you came back? They almost came back. And they both talked World Cup soccer instead. She could not ask a question that they didn't answer World Cup soccer. It was so funny. I loved it. Justice Winslow, Josh Hart, both very knowledgeable guys because they really understood the game, too, when they answered when they talked about the World Cup. It was awesome.
I appreciate the phone call, Charlie.
Sorry I frustrate you so much, bud.
No, you don't frustrate me. I'm just you
Okay.
bring it up every time you call in, and I'm not going to let you just come on and start talking nonsense about Josh Hart being a bona fide starting three because it's not true, and we're going to continue to disagree with that. But that's what talk radio is all about. It's a conversation, and it's okay to yell once in a while. It's okay to yell and disagree. What do you think guys do when they're sitting at the bar? You're crazy, man. What are you talking about? Brock Purdy's not going to lead the 49ers to a Super Bowl. You insane? Dame is the best Trailblazer of all time. No, it's not. It's Bill Walton. You weren't even around for the 77 championship. What about Clyde? Michael Jordan's the best player of all time. That's what guys do. Why do you think Charlie is so hung up on Josh Hart being the starting three, Burkhart? You got any thoughts on that? He loves Josh Hart as a three.
Because he's good. Like, Josh Hart's good, and Josh Hart has been
and we like him. He's a cool guy.
He's been a big reason this team has found success early on, especially offensively. How many times have I gushed over him and his ability to push the tempo? I watch the games with you and it's all the time. I go, look at the clock. He got that bad boy from rebound to the other side of the court and offense rolling 21 seconds on the clock. Like, I love it. But it's okay to say that he's your weak point within that starting lineup and look to upgrade them to get someone that can balance out a little bit of scoring. And rotations and all that stuff matter. And it's not like if you go and get an OG Anunoby somehow without getting rid of Josh Hart, that all of a sudden Josh Hart's not in the plans or he's not still pivotal to the team's rotation.
He would still be playing big minutes in key spots if he were the sixth man on this team.
Absolutely. Absolutely he would. It would give them a solid rotation of players. And right now you could sit there and you can look at Shaden Sharp, who's playing well, but he still needs to continue to develop to really be that guy off the bench. And outside of him, really, you don't have anyone who's going to shoulder that scoring load. So I think it's completely okay to say that Josh Hart is the weak spot in that lineup and admit at the same time that he's really freaking good, because he really is. He's really good and pivotal to that offense this season. And it doesn't mean that if you put someone else in there that it's going to ruin chemistry with him or this and that. Like, there's just so many ways that Chauncey Billups can mess around with those rotations. But this idea that you don't need shooting, chemistry matters. Like, yes, chemistry matters. But to your point, like, that 2019 team that went to the Western Conference Finals, like, that was some of the best chemistry that this team had in years with that starting lineup. But you knew you weren't going to get that far with Maurice Harkless and Al-Farouq Aminu. Like, you weren't going to get over the hump. You weren't getting past Golden State. You weren't winning a championship. So chemistry takes you so far. You need that talent, too.
Yeah, my biggest issue with Josh Hart is that he's more of a shooting guard than he is a small forward.
Yeah.
He's undersized at the three. That's it. It's not – he's good. He plays bigger than his size, but it's not ideal to have Dame and Hart. If you can have more size and someone that shoots a three ball with a little more consistency at that spot, you would obviously take it. And you could still have Hart off the bench to be that spark, which he's terrific at.
I mean, you can't tell me as a Blazer fan that you wouldn't be hyped if Josh Hart was still getting his 25-plus off the bench for a bench right now that currently is dead last in the league in scoring.
Yeah, they've got individual contributors off the bench who are terrific, but they don't have any big-time scorers off the bench. Let's go out to Doug in Lake-O. Doug, welcome to the fifth quarter. What's up? Fire away.
Hey, yeah, man, I heard one of your guests earlier say that
a nickname for Drew Eubanks, and he didn't mean it as a nickname, but he said something and it caught my ear, and it's silly, so bear with me. It's Drew U, and it's like taking you to school, Drew U. I don't know.
No, I
heard it. It's a dad joke, but
And then I just got Quest Comics to reach out. They like the Titan of Troutdale. What do you think of that one?
Well, listen, I love that he's from Troutdale, and I think we should showcase that any way we can. So,
sure. Dude, I love that. See, I think that's key. I was telling that to Dwight yesterday, that the fact that he's from Troutdale, I mean, how often do we come across something that's notable from Troutdale? I think that you got to emphasize the fact that he's from Troutdale. That's amazing.
So yes, and have you seen that kid on American Ninja Warrior? That kid's a stud. I do not remember what his name is, but he was one of the youngest kids on American Ninja Warrior this last year, and he was awesome.
Yeah, my dad loves him, and that's like one of my dad's favorite shows. He's totally down.
Oh man, my kids go crazy for American Ninja Warrior. We built up a thing in a room like for them to climb around and jump on, good stuff. But Drew, let's roll with it.
Love it. I love it, Doug. Man, I appreciate that. 503-248-0620. Drew, I'm going to take you to school right now. 503-248-0620. Let's go to Dan in Beaverton. Dan, what's up, my man? He's no longer there. Bye, Dan. Dan, I hope you're well. I hope you recover from COVID, and I hope you're enjoying the fact that you decided to get Root Sports and watch Trailblazer basketball. Paul in Salem. Paul, welcome to the show. What's going on?
Not much, man. Just enjoying this win. I just had a couple questions for you, though.
Yep.
If and what do you think the Blazers are going to do before the trade deadline?
Well, I think a lot of that will be determined by where they're at in the standings. So if they're continuing to win at this clip and they're going to factor into the Western Conference playoff race, then I think they're going to be in a situation where you've got to look to upgrade the roster so that you can put yourself in a position to make a legitimate run in the playoffs. And I would say that, you would probably look at the wing spot, maybe small forward. You would maybe another big, but they would have to look at that to give themselves, to beef up their lineup, give themselves a little bit more scoring to give themselves a chance to make a run. But that'll be determined by where they're at in the standings as we get closer to February.
Well, it would be nice if we could keep everybody and not take on more salary, but at the same time, if we can get a good deal, let's go for it. Now, what do you think about putting a package together for Miles Turner, though?
Well, Miles Turner would be fabulous. In fact, Chris and I have talked about this. If you're looking at a center, like if you could upgrade from what you have in Nurk right now, Miles Turner would be perfect because he can extend the defense and shoot the three. He's also more mobile, and he's pretty good in the pick-and-roll defense. So he would make you a better defensive team, and he's a threat to stretch the defense on offense. So I think Miles Turner would be a perfect fit here in Portland with the Blazers.
I agree, man. If we can, even if we have to trade Nurk, which of course we would have to, I'm all on board. I love Nurk, but, he's inconsistent, and he's got the athleticism of a freaking turtle. But, with Miles, I just think he obviously has such a higher ceiling. And I think we should go for it. I mean, even if do you think we could trade a Cross, or would we have to throw in another piece, do you think?
Yeah, my guess is they probably want something more than, just Nurk for a player-for-player deal. But Miles Turner would be a perfect fit. And a lot of Blazer fans salivating for him and what he could do in the lineup. I love Miles Turner. Defensively, more mobile, can shoot the three. He's good. Good player. And he would upgrade the Trailblazers for sure. There's no question about it. 503-248-0620. All right, Dan in Beaverton is there. Dan, my man, what's going on?
Hey, Chad. I went to take you off speakerphone, and I actually punched the wrong button and hung up on you.
That's
Sorry
okay.
about that.
It's not the last time that's going to happen to me in my lifetime. What's up, man? How you doing?
Pretty good. Show me your Blazer.
Show me your Blazer. So you survived COVID, and you're still watching the Blazers on route, I would assume.
Well, it's Fobo, and the weirdest thing happened. I went to tune it in tonight on my TV, and it was blacked out. I couldn't get anything to come up on my TV. Yeah, it was weird. It was like I didn't pay the bill or something, and I know I paid the bill because it's an automatic deduction from my account. So I went to my computer, and I got it on my. It didn't matter anyway because I had to go to my 12-step meeting. You know, my recovery comes first, right, Chad?
Of course,
which is why I hesitated to get Fobo. But now I've got it, so I'm crossing, dotting the T, crossing the T's and dotting the I's. You know what I mean, Chad? My sobriety comes first, and so. But I came home and I listened to you, and I listened to you earlier about the greatest basketball player of all time was Michael Jordan.
Yes.
But I found it interesting that Bill Walton's name came up in the conversation tonight when you're talking about the greatest Blazer of all time, because that's my choice.
Yeah. Yeah, really, the discussion for the greatest Blazer of all time usually comes down to one of three. It's either Dame, Clyde, or Bill Walton. And I think a lot of that is dependent upon when you grew up and watched the Trailblazers play basketball.
Yeah. And Dame is, he's right up there too. I mean, every day, every night, he just amazes me, and it'll be cool if he gets this record, this Clyde Drexler record, he'll have the most points of any Blazer in the history of the Blazers.
Yeah, of all time. And the cool part about that is that there's a very good chance they play in Houston here in a couple of days, and there's a very good chance that he's going to pass Clyde's mark in Houston with Clyde there in person. How cool would that be?
So Clyde does the play-by-play for the radio or the TV?
He's on. I have to double check. I'm not sure I can't remember if he's radio or TV, but he's the color analyst.
That's cool. That's what he's doing now. I didn't know. Anyway, I think these Blazers are great, and I'm going to tune in a little bit more. Because when Dame is out and they were losing, you kind of lose interest when they're losing, right?
Well, I think that goes for every fan out there. It's a much harder watch when the team's not winning basketball games.
Yeah. Okay, that's all I got. Thanks, Chad.
Appreciate it, buddy. There you go. There's Dan in Beaverton checking in. And props to him. He's had years and years of sobriety, which is terrific. Let's see here. Rockets radio crew. Okay, so that's, Matt Thomas. I think he's TV. Rockets TV crew. Is it Clyde no longer on there? 503-248-0620. Craig Ackerman, longtime voice of the Rockets. He's terrific. Matt Thomas is good. I know Clyde's down in Houston. That much I do know. Let's go down to Central Mexico. Bill and Jackie. My friends, welcome back to the show. What's going on, Bill and Jackie?
Hey, Chad, we just wanted to call and let you know, forgive me, I got a little cold, that we just love the show and love the riff with that guy a few callers ago.
Oh, yeah, with Charlie? Yeah, the back and forth between Charlie and I?
I know sometimes you gotta just tell people it's not that I just disagree with you. You're wrong.
Yeah, it's true.
You're just wrong. You're wrong.
Yeah, it's true. I think there are times where you have to say that and be like, look, we do disagree, but you're also wrong about this. But, it's I still love Josh Hart. I think that's where people get hung up sometimes is that, we love our Blazers and we have certain guys that we really root for. And just because you see them better, they would be better fit in a different role. It doesn't mean you don't like them or you like their game any less. It's just like, hey, I think they're better suited in this role. And that's all.
Exactly. I mean, Jackie and I thought the sky was falling when we let go of Nicholas Batum.
No, it's so good.
Hey, Chad, happy holidays.
Yeah,
And,
it's great to hear from
Merry
you.
Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, joy to you and yours, and stay safe, brother, and keep being excellent. This is Bill and Jackie from Central Mexico. Go Blazers!
I love it, man. I love you guys. Bill and Jackie are awesome. Now, if I recall, they used to live up here in the Northwest, and when they retired, they made the decision to head south. And they built the home. They got a home down there in Central Mexico, and they're loving life down there. And they're representing Rip City, which is pretty sweet. Love it. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. Let's go out to Kevin. Kevin, welcome to the fifth quarter. What's up?
Chad, how are you, my friend?
I'm well. What's up, man? Merry Christmas.
Hey, happy holidays to you. I've been listening to your show and loving it for so many years. I go back to the days of SEC guy.
Yeah, I love it, man. Long time. I love it.
Yeah, you and your sidekick, whose name I forget, but you had your morning show, and it was awesome to listen to on the way to work. So thanks for all you do. Really just love listening to you. So I couldn't agree with you more about Josh Hart. I think the guy's a great teammate, good backup too, and you can slip him over to the 3 for some minutes. But my question is, there hasn't been much discussion about moving Jeremy Grant to the 3 and bringing in somebody who could be a real stud and play the 4. So I just wondered what your thoughts are on that. Because Grant is quick, he's rangy, he's got a great shot.
No, I'm with you 100%. I agree. In fact, I think that the issue with Jeremy Grant, the only issue that I have with his game is he's not a great rebounder at that position at the 4. And so if you can get a 4, an elite 4 who's a better rebounder, and then you slide Grant to the 3, I'm perfectly okay with that solution. That would be fine because Grant's good enough to where he could play either position, no doubt.
Yeah.
And then think about that. If you can make that move, and then you had Josh Hart as your 6th man, how sweet would that be?
I know. You'd have a hell of a team.
Oh, and see, that's all they need. I really believe if they're in prime position to be a factor in the West right around February, that I think Cronin's going to go out and try to make something happen at the deadline, and that would put them in a position because, look at the West today. Right now, as of today, the West looks a lot more wide open than maybe what we thought it would be before the season got underway.
Yeah. I just don't know who they've really got as trade bait, because they're not going to trade Sharp. They're not going to trade Ant.
That's the problem. That's the problem is that if you're going to make a splash, you would have to probably part with one of your core pieces. That's the scary part.
Yeah.
That's the scary part. Yeah. And that's where GMs have to sit back and consider, do I roll the dice and go all in? Do we have a really good shot here to make something happen that's special, or do we stand pat? And those are tough decisions because when you part with young talent that's got a chance to be, a potential superstar, that's a scary deal. We know what happens when you let go of guys like that too.
I've seen a lot of them go, right?
I know. Yeah. No, it's great, man. Well, Kevin, I appreciate the kind words, my friend, and let's hope the Blazers can continue this strong play on the road trip.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll be listening to you forever, man. Love your show. Thanks for everything.
I appreciate it. There you go. There's Kevin. So SEC guy. So he goes all the way back to, 2010? It's like 12 years of activity right there. I love that. 503-248-0620. Let's go to Joni. Joni, welcome to the fifth quarter. What's going on?
Hi. Thanks, Chad. I've never been on the show, but I'm a big Blazers fan.
Oh, I love that. Well, thanks for calling in. It's great to hear your voice. What's on your mind tonight, Joni?
I mean, I'm sure you've addressed this before. Like I said, I don't tune in that often, but what's your feelings on GP2? Is he ever going to play? Can we get rid of him? What do you think?
Well, I am a little bit, anytime and I'm sure the same as you are, Joni, like when it comes to an injury to a Trailblazer and then we keep getting the date pushed back, I get concerned, but I am growing confident that we're going to see him play within the next 1 to 2 weeks because Shams Charania just put out a report a few days ago that the expected debut is in the next 1 or 2 weeks, and Shams typically gets his information from agents, and that means he would have talked to GP2's agent, and the agent would not give him that information unless he truly believed it was true. So I think we're going to see GP2 here in the next week or two. And if you go back to what Dame and Chauncey talked about after the practice they had. They both mentioned him playing full practice for 40-plus minutes. They first said 5-on-5, then they changed it to 3-on-3, but he was a full participant, so that would tell me or lead me to believe that he's close to making a debut. And the reason why you want him on the floor is because defensively, he's a guy that could be a big-time difference maker. I think that's why we're excited to see him.
Yeah, no, definitely. I did hear he practiced with them, but I'm just getting impatient.
Hey, we're sports fans. We're supposed to be impatient. Now, let me ask you this. What are your thoughts on what you've seen from the team so far this year?
I mean, there's been some ups and downs, but I like what we've got going on so far. I liked what the guy said before about, I love Nurk, but get rid of him. He's, he is inconsistent. He's just not making good plays. He doesn't even look when he makes the basket. I don't know. I'm over Nurk. I think we got to change up our big man for sure. But, you're talking about Hart. I love Hart. He's got great heart,
He does. And he plays hard, yeah.
I'm liking what the team. I love the addition of Jeremy Grant. He's been great. They still have room for improvement, but I think they're looking pretty good.
I agree. Is it too much to ask that the center just at least look at the basket when he puts up shots? I don't think that's asking for too much.
That's what I say every time. He doesn't even look. He just throws it up. He wishes. He hopes it will go in.
Yeah. Have you ever thought for a moment, Joni, what it's like to be Chauncey Billups when you see some of that stuff go down? He's got to be thinking, what are you doing, man? What's going on out there?
I know. I think that, too. I'm how does he just watch that? Doesn't he tell them? Oh, it's got to be so frustrating. I don't know.
Goodness.
It's a fan. It's rough to watch, for sure.
It is. It's enough to drive a person crazy. Well, Joni, I appreciate you calling in. Go Blazers. And feel free to call in and chime in with your thoughts anytime you want.
I love it. Thanks, Chad. It was great talking to you.
I love it. Thanks, Joni. There's Joni in Rip City representing right there. I like that. I like new callers, new thoughts. 503-248-0620. Now, is Charlie in Nebraska, is he the one that gives us our, what are the reports? The ag reports?
I don't even know anymore.
All right, let's go out to Charlie in Nebraska and see if he's got an ag report for us. Charlie, Nebraska, you're on the fifth quarter. What's going on, Charlie?
Hey, thank you for taking my call. I wanted to mention a coworker of mine who used to work here at the radio station said that you may be looking for a new man to come in and broadcast the games for you. Apparently, the current man has a little problem with his voice, and so I'm wondering if you could enlighten me on where I could audition for that. I've been working in Hot Country 106.5 for a couple weeks now, and I've gotten 3 games under my belt, so I think I'm kind of ready to take the next step here.
I like that. Hot Country 106.5. The person.
Hot Country 106.5. La. Here's a little Jimmy Allen. Coming up, we got Blake Shelton and Miranda Lambert for your Thursday. I'm getting ready for my next show. It's Sunday morning, but I'm getting ready now.
Well, it sounds like you're well on your way. The person you want to reach out to is Jeff Curtin with the Trailblazers. Send any demo tapes to Jeff Curtin. Express your concern and your willingness to help in any way that you can.
23 degrees right now. Yes, go ahead.
And what is the weather like in Nebraska this time of year, Charlie?
23 degrees.
Now, are you the one that does ag reports too, or did you used to do ag reports?
I'm going to be doing my first ag report on Sunday morning.
Oh, sweet.
I cannot wait. You don't understand. That's a big deal here. If you do the ag report, you better bring your A game.
I would think so. I would guess in Nebraska, they gather around the little speaker for the ag report. That's big. That's big news.
Yes, the ag report is big news. Live and die with the ag report. That's how it goes. 24 degrees now, getting a little warmer here for you. I hope you're having a good Wednesday tonight. And I hope you have some romance in your future. Be sure to listen to Bobby Bones in the morning right here on 106.5.
I love it, Charlie. Send in your
All right, well, I got to go. I don't want you to get upset with me. You got upset with another man. You were actually fighting. You know, they told me maybe you can correct this. Don't fight with your listeners. If they take the effort and make the effort to call up your radio show, you better not start fighting with them. But you don't care about that. Am I wrong, or are they training me wrong here? I've only done this for 3 weeks now.
No, he's the good Charlie. You're the good Charlie. He was the bad Charlie. So that's all.
All right. Well, I hope the wheat price goes up, and I'll let you go, and I'll see you later.
There you go. Charlie in Nebraska. Let's go to Aaron in Vancouver. Aaron, welcome to the fifth quarter. What's up?
Hey, Chad. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, buddy. Great to hear your voice.
Yeah, so I have a question about Gary Payton. I had the chance of going to one of the Minnesota games over the weekend.
Yep.
And I only get to maybe 1 or 2 games a season, so I don't really get to get there that often. But I noticed during the timeouts that GP2 was, like, he would just grab a ball and start shooting at a hoop, or during, when they throw the T-shirts in the crowd, he was grabbing T-shirts and throwing T-shirts. Not during one timeout was he ever with the team or engaged, and maybe that's common for NBA players to do that. But, I mean, I don't get to games, so I don't see it all that often. But do you have any insight into, is that normal, like, basketball conduct or behavior for a guy just to be not even engaged with the team?
Well, I think what I really think it is, Aaron, is that when a player is not playing and he's not a part of practice and he's not a participant in the games, I think they try to steer clear because they don't want to be overbearing with guys that are in the action and playing and stuff like that. So I think they try to pick their spots, and they want to be there with their teammates, but they don't want to get overly involved because they're not actively playing. And I think it was the same thing for Dame. When he was out last year, he would be at games, he would talk to some of the guys, but he wouldn't be overly, like, involved. And I think that's just because they don't feel like they're a part of the action since they're not playing. So I wouldn't read that much into it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't get around to enough games to see during timeouts because I'm watching commercials typically, right?
You know what I mean by that, right? Like, where if Gary Payton II is there on the sideline, he hasn't played in a game this year, he hasn't played a game for the Blazers yet. Like, if he's barking at guys or he's too involved in the huddle for guys who are in the game, they might feel like he's, a bit over the top. And so I understand he's just probably trying to play it cool and not step on anyone's toes.
Yeah, you don't want to get Festus Ezeli in here, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, and that's the clarification I was looking for. Thanks, Chad.
You got it, buddy. I appreciate it. Let's go out to my man Chris, who's chiming back in. Chris, here on the fifth quarter. What's up, bro?
Hey, man. How you doing, Chad?
Very well, very well. How about yourself?
Pretty good. Hey, regarding Josh Hart, I thought it stuck out to me that he was actually in Shaq and the Fool last night for that play where Nurk, I believe, blocked the shot and threw it down the court, and then he, like, slides out of bounds. And our effort to get the upper hand was thwarted.
That was brutal. Yeah, that was against Denver, and if they would have scored on that 2-on-1 fast break, they probably won the game. That was painful. And then, I had 2 ladies who called in who were right under the basket by that play when it happened, and they said it happened in, like, slow motion through their eyes. They're like, no!
Yeah, well, I thought that was ironic because Nurk would have been involved in the, winning play of the game, and instead it is a Shaq and the Fool moment. So that's kind of where I'm at with Josh Hart. He, it's like this double-edged sword when you have a dude that plays to the hilt all the time, like, hard, fast, hard. They do sometimes, trip, fall out of bounds, throw it to no one who's there, all that stuff. So, but what about, Chad, help me understand the Broncos, because I was, I was pulling for Russell and his new team, and I've seen the record, and I'm like, I'm not watching any of that, but I can't understand, like, I think he's missing him some DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett for sure, but I can't believe that, I know the coach, Hackett, is just a joke, but he was running for his life almost the whole time in Seattle. Like, he never had an offensive line, and this is, am I right that I'm guessing last year the Broncos probably had won more games without Russ? Is that right? Like,
that is correct.
I don't understand.
I know. Let me break this down real quick for you. It's brutal, Chris. It's brutal. The coach is the number one issue. No head coaching experience when he came in. It's always a risk when you bring in the coordinator with no experience. He proved that in game number 1 when he elected to kick a 64-yard field goal instead of go for it on 4th and 5 with Russ. So Nathaniel Hackett's been a problem. The coaching staff had basically no experience when they pieced it together. The defensive coordinator, Ejiro Evero, has been terrific, but the leadership at the top, the offense, it's been a major problem. Russ has not played well, but the injuries have been a significant issue. They've got more money on the injured reserve than any other team in football. They've got their third-string left tackle in, their third-string right tackle in, their third-string center in, decimated along the offensive line, decimated at receiver. Top 3 running backs have been down. So, yeah, injuries, poor coaching. It's just been a big bowl of wrong this year in Denver. So, what do? My guess is you change the head coach. You bring in a coach with experience. You bring in an offensive coordinator that's worked with Russ before. You keep the same defensive coordinator. You look to upgrade a couple of spots on the roster, but most importantly, just get your guys back healthy, and then you can bring it back next year, and then you'll be able to have a more proper evaluation on Russ and where he's at. That's where we're at. Ugh, hideous football. Horrible. 503-248-0620 is your telephone number. We'll come back, and we'll continue to take your calls. We'll get the drive of the night. We'll give you a scoreboard report. And it's turned out to be a much more eventful 5th quarter than what we thought, Burkhardt.
Came out of nowhere. Got
hot. Like a Dame heater. 503-248-0620. Blazers top the Spurs tonight at AT&T Center in San Antonio, 128-112. You've got the 5th quarter on 620 Rip City Radio. All right, telephone number 503-248-0620, 503-248-0620. We'll go back to the phones in just a moment, but it's time now to give you a listen to the drive of the night.
It's time for the Nothing But Net Shot of the Night here on the fifth quarter, 620 Rip City Radio. The Nothing But Net Shot of the Night is brought to you by Oregon Dungeness Crab. Sustainably harvested, uniquely delicious, and always wild. Oregon Dungeness Crab. Always sounds good for dinner.
Here's Watford on the low post with 10 to shoot. Defended by McDermott. Gives it up to Dame. Turns the corner and drives. Kicks it out to Nurkic. No look pass to Sharp. 3 on the way. Buries it. And Shaden Sharp, who has struggled from 3, knocks that one down. Blazers lead by 6.
All right, there you go. Shot of the night. 503-248-0620. Blazers take out the Spurs tonight by a final score of 128-112. Next game coming up on Friday, 5:30 tip in Dallas against the Mavericks with game day starting at 3 here on 620 Rip City Radio. Let's go out to Sean, who's calling in on fifth quarter. Sean, what's up? Fire away.
Hey, Chad, I was just calling. I unfortunately don't get to watch a whole lot of the games, but I get to listen on the radio, which is fine by me. But I was calling. I was thinking about Josh Hart and his value to the team, and I love watching him play. He fits the mold of what the Blazers are doing, but I feel like his contract value to the team and trade bait is almost equally matched to his value on the court.
Well, there's no question. He's on a very team-friendly deal. It's a movable contract. So if the Blazers are going to make a move, he would definitely be one of the guys that would be considered because there'd be a lot of teams out there that would see value in a guy like Hart on their roster. There's no doubt.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely feel like they so many of the trade rumors and things that I follow online, everybody mentions Shaden Sharp in there, and I just feel like that would be a bad move on the Blazers in terms of at least fan base and the future. I mean, it's definitely, I know if the right deal came along, but it would be hard to watch him go away. I'd rather see someone like Hart, go away than Sharp, unfortunately. But the second thought here, too, a nickname that I had tweeted out there or put in the chat was Drew Baca.
I love that because then they could play the Chewbacca sound when he yells in like Moda Center. That'd be awesome.
Exactly.
I'm totally down with that.
Better than the chainsaw.
Yeah, Chris would like that better than the chainsaw. The other thing to keep in mind, Sean, is that maybe in the future, maybe Shaden Sharp makes Ant expendable, and if you would have a big piece in Ant to move if you were looking to make a serious upgrade to the roster. That's a possibility too.
Agreed. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough.
All right.
Anytime you're talking about a big move to dramatically alter the roster, it's hard because we don't want to let go of any of our guys. We love Josh Hart. We love Ant. We like the pieces. But, these are the tough decisions that have to be made when you're talking about putting your team in a legitimate position to go out and compete for a championship. And, again, that whether I'm talking to Charlie or anyone else, that's where you've got to understand where my mind's at. My mind is always, what can they do to put themselves in a position to truly compete for a championship? Keep in mind, this team has not been a legitimate title contender for 22 years. That's a long time. That's a ridiculous amount of time, and that's how long it's been. So I'm always thinking championship, and that means I'm willing to part with guys, even if I love them, if it might put the Blazers in a position to contend for a title. But it's hard because we don't want to let go of those guys. Let's go out to Brent. Brent, welcome to the fifth quarter. Appreciate the call. Fire away.
Yeah, for Eubank's nickname, class of 75 Beaver grad here. Kind of feel like indifference to his shot blocking that he's done. I knew he could block shots, but he seems to have done more than I thought he would. And when he goes up, he's creating a dam in front of the rim to keep the flow of the balls out. So I think he ought to be called the Daminator.
I love it. Hey, by the way, as a 75 grad from Oregon State, how pumped are you for the Vegas Bowl this weekend for a chance to get to 10 wins?
Well, I think that the 6-6 record for Florida could be something that some people might go pish posh, but they're a team. Even though they've got a lot of guys out, they're looking at next man up. They recruit well. Winning against them under any circumstances would be a big deal.
I agree.
I think that 10-point spread is hard to believe. But, when you look at all the stats, B's got the stats, but you just don't know. You got East meets to West, and it's going to be great to watch.
No, I love it, man. I appreciate it. Good phone call, Brent. The Daminator. I do like Chewbacca. That Chewbacca sounds pretty funny. Do you like the Chewbacca sound, Burkhart? I know you like it better than Chainsaw, but are you a Star Wars guy at all? That's your first Chewbacca impression. I love that.
First and last and worst.
Oh, Chewbacca. What is this here? Oh, it's so good. 503-248-0620. Let's go to Muhammad in Portland. Muhammad, my man, what's cracking?
I'm good, man. How you doing tonight?
Very well.
Yeah, I got a question for you. It's kind of like a fantasy type of question. But if at all, if we could add to this team a player, and he has to be a former Trailblazer that we could just add, because I believe we're just a piece away from, like you were just saying, being a title contender. We haven't been at it 22 years. Who would it be? And I don't think you're going to go with an obvious answer because you know how the team's dynamic is, but who would it be?
Now, is this a former Trailblazer that's actively playing in the NBA right now?
He could be actively playing. He could be retired, but yeah, you could just add him to the team, and it could be any former Trailblazer. That's the rule.
Okay. Well, I'll give you my answer right now. Give me Buck Williams, put him at the 4, and slide Jeremy Grant over to the 3. How's that sound?
That sounds great. I'm a little too young. I know a little bit about Buck, but I was born in the 90s, so I was kind of...
What about Sheed?
After he... Sheed at the 4, and then you have Grant at the 3?
Yep.
Why not LaMarcus?
I'll take LaMarcus, too. Give me LaMarcus. Give me Sheed. Anyone that can beef up the front court. If you want to replace Nurk, why don't we just drop Arvidas in there? I'll take any of those guys.
What would you... I know that a lot of players... I mean, a lot of people wouldn't agree with me, but what about a prime Nicholas Batum at the 3?
He would be perfect, too. No, he'd be perfect because he can defend multiple spots. He can shoot the 3, and he's a great defender. He would make them significantly better defensively, and if you could put him at the 3 and have Hart off the bench as your 6th man, that'd be money, absolute money.
Yeah, I definitely agree, man. I definitely agree. I definitely do agree.
Yeah. And hey, don't worry about fantasy questions, man. I live in fantasy world, Muhammad, so I'm always there thinking about, man, if we could just have this guy right now, it'd be perfect. Just like we used to do when they were going to the finals in the 90s. We thought, man, if we could just have Arvidas instead of Duckworth, it'd be perfect.
Yeah, man. I could only imagine. Another player I think would fit well with this team, Travis Outlaw.
Oh, Travis Outlaw. I love his athleticism. I think that's, he was – the great thing about Outlaw is that he had great hops, man. So he brought a little extra element to the game like we see with flashes from Shaden Sharp. It's nice to have those young legs, guys who can get up like that.
Yeah, I think Travis Outlaw is probably one of the most underrated players probably ever. Only Blazer fans would remember him and, how many game winners he hit for us. I remember against Atlanta and then the one about 14 seasons ago when he hit it against Memphis off the glass, and that kind of started our 13-in-a-row win when nobody thought we'd be good that year.
Oh, yeah, when they won 13 straight. That was a great run. I enjoyed that.
That was kind of like the end and the beginning of, like, the new era of the Blazers with Roy and Aldridge. And that was my favorite Blazers ever because I think we were contenders that year. If we were to stay healthy, I think we could have been. But I don't know how many better teams Blazers can produce than that team right there. 09. I don't know how big of a fan you were of the 09.
I was. I was a big fan, man. They won 54 games that year, and then I was stunned. I remember the game 1 against the Rockets when the Houston came out and blew out Portland in game 1 at Moda Center. I was stunned.
Yeah, because the second round of that year, the Lakers were actually with Pau Gasol and Kobe. They were great, but
the Rockets, if healthy, that series could have taken out the Lakers, but I don't think a lot of people want to have that conversation, and I think the Blazers could have even gave a good run for their money, and I think the West was pretty good that year, but, if we had a little bit more experience, we definitely could have came out. But just to end it on this, I think if the Blazers stayed healthy with that team, I believe we would have won the title in 2011.
Well, there's no doubt. I mean, what do you need in a small market? You usually have to strike it rich in the draft, and they got LaMarcus Beroy and Greg Oden, and unfortunately, as we all know, injuries derailed that. But that's what you need. They struck it rich. They had the core. It's brutal.
Yeah, and it's hard. It's hard for us Blazer fans because usually, right, like now we're really good at the guard spot, but our front line is not that great. But at that time, we were really good at the guard, and then we had great front court, and then we had Oden. But, unfortunately, as Blazer fans, kind of know how that show goes.
Yeah, injuries. It's no matter what generation of Blazer fan you are, injuries have been a part of your experience. I appreciate the phone call, Mohammed. Let's go out to East Amity. Ralph, the landscaper, joining us. Ralph, what's going on, my friend?
Well, Chan, I've been here just, dialing you in there. I kind of watched you there on the YouTube a little bit, and, I got to say something. Your brow and your forehead get really wrinkly when you're screaming at Charlie in Vancouver for saying that, he wants to do some trade or something. I kind of got lost, but all I know is that it's like you go down to the tavern in Amity and there's a fight that breaks out. You don't know why the fight breaks out, and you don't know what's going to happen. But you see these two guys just going at it, and you ask a guy who sits there for 45 minutes down at the end of the bar, you say, why are these guys fighting? And he'll just kind of shrug and look at you and go, I don't know. But that's what seemed to be happening there earlier tonight, Chan.
Well, you know what happens? Like, do you have any friends or people you associate with where no matter how often you talk with them, you always wind up in the same argument over and over and over again? That's like Charlie and I, where we like each other, and I enjoy it when he calls in, but we always wind up arguing over Josh Hart and whether or not he should be starting at the 3 or not. It's like the same thing over and over again. We can't avoid it. It's unavoidable for us.
Yeah, I just hope Igor Gula on the YouTube and Scott Jones and Rachel and everybody there was entertained by it, because I sure was. I'll tell you that. And it's like, they think, this Chan, he's a nice guy, very likable, he's very respectful and friendly to people, and then all of a sudden this monster comes out. It's somewhat entertaining, because I don't know if you're really a monster or if you're really a nice guy. And see, now you bring confusion to people's minds. That's what you're doing there. Is that on purpose?
No, it's not on purpose. It comes out naturally. But I think, see, that's a perfect representation of life, because how often do you sit around at the bar having a conversation about sports and just have friendly conversation the whole night? You go from friendly to laughing to yelling to you get all sorts of stuff to go on during the course of a sports conversation. So it's only natural that it takes place on talk radio from time to time.
Yeah, it does. It does happen. That's for sure. And I don't know. I just I just laughed at it, and I do want to say one other thing here.
Yes.
I noticed that the camera operator there is giving less time to your producer. He's a nice guy and did a nice job filling in for you there, but he had just admitted earlier today that he needs a haircut. Now, I told him that 2 or 3 weeks ago, but he still, much like Alan, when Alan worked there, and Kyle, and these other kids that worked for you, it took him a while to realize how smart I am and how wise it would be to listen to my advice. He's still trying to just trying to figure it out and trying to resist.
No. I told him.
Wisdom.
No, you've got to understand that I believe that Burkhart is like Samson, and he gets power from his hair, and he does everything in studio. So I don't want him to cut his hair, because I believe he's like Samson, and he gets power from his hair, and I'm afraid if he were to cut the hair all off, that he would lose his producing powers, and I don't want that.
Well, let me explain, Chan. That was back in the in the Old Testament days.
Yes,
we live in a modern world now.
That's true.
And
the same principles apply.
No, because if he cuts his hair, he will probably, kind of cleaned up a little bit. He'd get a better job, and he'd have power because his paycheck would be 3 times as big.
Are you saying that I am having him not cut his hair because I want to keep him down? I'm trying to keep the man down?
Probably, yeah. I think there's something to that. Because I've told you before, Chan, he's a nice guy. He does a very nice job for you, and I could tell I would dare say he's probably one of the best guys in that role that you have ever had. Am I accurate to say that?
He is, yes, without question. He is the best guy in that role that I've had.
Yes, and there you go. That's good. But what would make him better is if instead of looking like a guy on the TV show Jail when they go to the Multnomah Detention Center and they show these drunk guys rolling in, if he didn't look like that and looked more like, say something on Suits or one of those other shows, you'd have to pay him a lot more money, and he would be much more valuable to the company. But right now, he scares the children that come in to tour the radio station.
But do you understand, like, when you look like I do, it's really, how can I critique anyone on what they look like when you look the way I do? Like, it would be pretty hypocritical for me to criticize someone on appearance when I look the way I do, Ralphie.
Yeah. I'm not I'm just saying, if you got something good there, then you can make it better. Why not make it better? If he kind of just trimmed up the hair a little bit.
No. Why mess with perfection? He's perfect, as is.
Well, you and I are going to disagree on that. Should I start yelling like that Charlie guy did, Jen?
Yes. Start yelling about Josh Hart and talking about how he's the perfect fit because chemistry is all that matters to coaches, and how I need to listen to Butch Blue and other high school coaches around the state of Oregon and Washington. I do agree.
I don't even know what any of that stuff means. I'll just tell you that right now. And I wouldn't yell at you anyway, Chan, because I know that's not productive. I didn't get successful by yelling at people. Let me say that. That's I know you sent somebody in my office. I think Lizzie told me you were curious about that property I have out in Newburgh. Those 2 pieces of property I bought years ago. And
I like Newburgh. It's pretty down there.
People said, "Oh, you're crazy, Ralph. Why are you paying $2.3 million for this property? It's not worth 2 twigs that are laying on it." And it was 2 pieces, and then you sent a note wondering what the update was because some California people came up and wanted to turn it into a vineyard area because of way in the relation to the sun, and that's why I bought it because I knew where all this Oregon wine thing was going years ago.
Well, I just love the idea of people here in Oregon taking advantage of people from California. I'm all about that. Anytime you can get over on people from California who try to come up here, clog up our roads, drive up our home prices, and try to steal our natural resources, I'm all about getting over on those people.
Yeah, these guys, wanted to sight unseen knocked on my door and wanted to buy it. And I had to laugh at them. I paid $2.3 million for this in about 1985 or 1986, and they came to me and offered me 26.8, which I laughed at them and said, are you guys on a comedy tour here? That's what I told them on my porch, Chan.
Comedy tour.
Are you guys doing a comedy tour here? If you ever have somebody that wants to do business with you, and you just use that line, Chan, okay? Are you doing a comedy tour here? And that'll make them look at you, and either you'll see their character. Either they'll get mad and walk away, or they'll realize I need to step up my game here, and all that nonsense. So, anyway, I know you wanted an update on that, so I thought
I appreciate
that.
I'd
throw it out.
I'll keep that in mind. And next time someone asks me something like that, when I have something of interest, I'll be like, "What are you guys on a comedy tour?" I don't think so.
Yeah, see, that'll work every single time. Like when they tell you they're at the radio deal that, hey, here's what we're going to pay you, and you want more, then you need to say, did we become a comedy club here?
I should have said that to Charlie tonight when he tried to slip in that stuff about Josh Hart. I'd be like, hey, what is this, a comedy tour? You going Josh Hart again on me? Come on now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, now, so I do like the way the kid filled in for you. I don't want to sound like I don't like him. He's a very good kid, and I as I've said, he's a very talented kid, and I could make something great out of him. But if he wants to settle for good right now, that'll be enough, I guess, to get him through life, and he'll be okay.
Well, it sounds like you're trying to steal him from me now. It's like you know what type of worker he is, and you want him on your crew. Are you trying to steal my man?
No, I can look at him right now, Chen, and on the YouTube deal there, and I can tell you right now, unless I put him in the office, if he was out doing landscaping work, I think he'd last about half a day.
Oh, no, he's too strong for that.
Yeah, okay. Ralph can come spend 10 hours a day
at the meat
cutting
factory.
meat at the meat market,
Yeah.
and he'll go, okay, I think I might want to go back to landscaping.
That's true. And and you told me the story. You said you always wondered why your pops was so tired at the end of the workday, and when you started working at the meat market.
I always picked on him growing up because he'd come home and he'd sit on the couch and just zonk out, right? And then the very first day I worked there, I fell asleep after about 5 minutes of being home, woke up in the morning, like, whoa, now I realize why Dad is always asleep.
Never going to say anything about Pops again.
Exhausting work, I promise you, Ralph. I would last longer than a day in landscaping.
That's true.
Okay, I'll give you 2 days, but see, you have kids now, so you can't go home and fall asleep on the couch.
Oh, my goodness, he's got a house full of them. How many kids now? 3?
3.
Ooh.
I don't sleep.
Yeah, I commend you for that.
3 girls, too.
Oh, my goodness, yeah. It might be a rough go because you couldn't go home and sleep on the couch. They'll be pulling on your long hair and just making all kinds of ruckuses about you.
Let me tell you about their meat market too. They put as much care into their beef jerky as you do into milling your bark dust. It's the best.
Really? Where is it? What meat market is this?
What's the name of the meat market again, Burkhart?
It's the original steer meat market off 123rd and Division.
Off 123rd and Division, the original steer meat market. The best meat sticks and beef jerky I've ever had. It's insane.
Now, do they do like mail? Because I don't like driving out in that area. But if I called, will they ship it to me? Or
do you ship meat?
I mean, I highly don't suggest mail via mail food.
Would you do? Obviously, you're not going to mail fresh meat. What about beef jerky? You guys probably don't do that,
we
right?
don't. It's just
It'd be a messy proposition.
Small mom and pop shop, man. It ain't set up for that.
Yeah.
All right, so I could send somebody out there, and
Yeah,
I
you
just
could
maybe
send
have to
someone
send somebody
Talk
out
about
there.
work
And
ethic. He doesn't even want to put in the effort to get out there. Oh,
Did-
you got some mail, so I don't got to get up off
I
the
want you to do a
couch?
test now. I'm curious. Like, ship me a steak, and I want to see what it smells like when it arrives.
How about no?
Yeah. You
well,
imagine
there's
that?
all kinds of companies that do ship that stuff now. You know.
I know. I've done that from like the Omaha Steaks, but they it's like frozen. You know, it comes in. They seal it up and then they freeze it and then they ship it out in one of those boxes with like the dry ice or whatever they got in there.
Yeah, see, there you go. It doesn't have to be frozen. You just put it in there cold, and then you put the dry ice in there, and it'll stay cold. And, you know, let's be realistic. Even with the mail, the USPS, with to go from Division to Amity, that's only about 6 days.
Yeah, only if you're lucky, 6 days.
Yeah, you know, that was a good job, Brad. You picked up on that joke,
Yeah,
Jan.
snail mail.
You know, you still have a sense of humor after that guy beat you up on the fighting with him.
Yeah.
Hey, what is the deal, Chan? I'm sorry, I got to ask you one question here. I don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm doing, but what is this thing about some guy calls in and wants to take Travis's place? What's going on there?
Well, I think what happened is like Travis has been inflicted once again with some type of I don't know what would you say is laryngitis. He's got something wrong with his voice, and you can hear it on the broadcast. It's rough. And so a guy named Charlie, not the Charlie I argued with over Josh Hart, but Charlie from Nebraska, who works at some country station like 106.5, Hot Country 106.5, was wondering if he should send in a tape and who he might send it to be a possible play-by-play guy for the Blazers.
Okay, so it's not anything serious then, is it?
No, I don't think so. No.
Okay, yeah, that I
would pay money to hear a country guy do a Trailblazer game just once. That'd be awesome.
Well, it would be, yeah. That would be entertaining because he you know, Travis says "got it" or whatever when they shoot a three. Got what does he say? He's like, yes or got it or whatever.
Yes.
This guy would say yeehaw. Yeah.
Yeah, think of the I don't know how that would play in Portland, but maybe down in San Antonio it might play well, though, with the Cowboys down there.
Yeah, well, I don't know. They're getting so liberal down there, they may not like Cowboys anymore.
It's possible.
It's sort of like, they say, he threw it out. Yeah, give me a tree hug.
Yippee-yi-yay.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Chan, I'll let you go. You've been working a long day today, so I'm going to let you go. And I just wanted to tell you, I'll probably check in with you once more before Christmas and all that stuff. But don't spend much on me this year.
Okay, and
I don't need it. You know that I don't need it. And I'll tell your producer kid there that you're going to get him something extra nice because you're not spending money on me.
No, I'll tell you what I'm going to get you. It's going to be a $5 gift card for the coffee shop, right? The one that won't even pay for your full beverage.
Yeah, there you go. Here you goes, Mike. Here you go. Thank you. And no, it's Ralph. It's $6.45.
Yeah, you got to cover the other $1.45 to get your beverage, but at least you know it's coming from the heart.
Yeah, exactly. I don't roll like that. It's sort of like, hey, you want to come over for dinner, Chan? Oh yeah, I'd love to come over for dinner, Ralph. Oh, can you please bring some fresh cooked steaks with you?
Yeah. And then I'll stop by the steer market and get my meat.
Yeah, the original steer market.
That's
I think
right.
is what
You
it
got
was
it.
called.
That's right. The original steer market. Boom.
Yeah, just like that. If your producer was worth a lick, he'd bring you some meat and just let you talk about it a little bit and say, hey, this guy brought me some meat.
We should do that. We should hang for product placement. We could hang like raw steaks up on the background behind me, take down the Blazer stuff, and hang up some raw steaks from the original steer market. That's actually not a bad idea.
Well, you're a Rocky fan, so if that Charlie in Vancouver guy calls and you start fighting, you can start just whacking on the big side of beef. You can take out all your aggressions right there.
Dude, ever since a young boy, I've been wanting to go into a meat market like that in Philadelphia and just pound on some raw meat. I've always thought that'd be cool.
Yeah, well, you could do it. That's a good idea. You could do marketing, you could do sales, and you could take out your aggressions and mental health. It's all right there, Chan.
Boom, right there. I just go over to the original steer market and start pounding on a big pile of meat.
Well, no, you need to hang it up behind you there in the radio studio.
That's a good idea. You say it's a bad idea, Chris? Have you tried that?
It's a lot harder than you think. And if you think that anybody who's ever worked at a meat market didn't go in there and punch the side of beef like Rocky at least once, you're absolutely insane.
Of course you did.
Yeah. And you miss and you hit the hook that the side of beef is hanging on. Yeah. It happens.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, Rachel there on YouTube has some good points, and you should go in there and read those, Chan, because that'll give you a little perspective and help you understand life a little bit.
Well, I appreciate that.
I'll just leave it at that. You have a good night, Chan, and you, Mr. Chris Hart, Mr. Producer Extraordinaire. I love you a long time, and I'll see you later.
There you go. Ralph the landscaper.
Loves me a long time, but doesn't love my long hair.
All right, so Rachel chimed in and says steer, a castrated male cow. Is that what that is?
Cool. I know it's the name of a meat market. That's all I care about.
I just know I don't like the word castrated. There's certain words I don't like to say. That would be one of them. So you have tried that, though? Like you went back in the cooler at the meat market and started pounding on it just like Rocky? Gosh, I love that you did that.
Chad, I'm telling you, any meat cutter has done that at least once. It's just par for the course, man. Got to do it.
Can I come over and do it once?
we can work something out.
Like, dude, we can make a video. Like, I could dress up in like the gray sweat top and the sweatpants.
Oh yeah, I'll play the music.
I could walk and be like, dude, one of my favorite things of all time was when I went to Philly with Trav. We went to Army Navy. We went to the Rocky steps, and I made a video and put music behind it, the Rocky music, and ran up the steps. It was cool. I thought it was cool. Only like 1 billion people have done it, but I love Rocky. And I saw the statue and everything. And now I want to go into the original steer meat market and pound on meat just like Rocky did.
I'll hook you up.
You could be Mickey and be like,
I'll hook you up.
Okay. All right.
We'll make this happen. I'll let you live your dreams.
That's what Chris is, man. He's a dream maker, making things happen. You got any final thoughts tonight? Not necessarily on the show, but on the game. I'm just ready for I want Dame. What does he need? So he's 71 points away from setting the mark. So get 35 to 40 on Friday, and then put yourself in a position to make it happen in Houston, in front of Clyde on Saturday. There you go. And he said he already plans on playing in the back-to-back, so he's good to go.
Yeah. I'm a little confused, though. I was doing a ton of research here, Chad, and I don't think Clyde's on their play-by-play for their TV or radio anymore.
So he's no longer on the broadcast crew. That's kind of my...
So I don't know what he's doing, but I still hope maybe he's like a team ambassador or something. Maybe he's there. This move kind of flew under the radar for us over here. It looks like they changed their broadcast crew last year. But yeah, I couldn't find anything about him being on their broadcast crew anymore.
Sue, by the way, says she comes in and gets the bags of pepperoni sticks.
Yeah. Nice. Got you. I brought you a few the other day.
They're delicious.
Ralph says I don't bring you any of the meat. You haven't paid for a bag of beef jerky yet.
No. And I appreciate that. Because I know that beef jerky is not cheap. There's a lot of value in that meat. It's a good little protein kick. All right, I think let's get we got to get a scoreboard report in. Let's do it right now.
The fifth quarter on 620 Rip City Radio presents the Scoreboard Report, brought to you by the Stadium Sports Bar and Grill, A-L-N-A's ultimate venue for sports fans every Monday night, featuring beer and wing specials and more.
All right, checking your night in the association. A final in overtime in Charlotte. The Pistons get win number 8 on the year, 141-134 over the Hornets. Killian Hayes had 25.7 boards and 8 assists. A final in Indiana. The Pacers 125, the Warriors 119. Their road woes continue. Steph with 38 in the loss. Halliburton 29 points and 6 assists. In Orlando, the Magic topped the Hawks 135-124. Marquez Fultz with 16 points and 9 assists. A final in Toronto, Kings over the Raptors 124-123. Sabonis 21 points and 20 rebounds. In overtime in Chicago, the Knicks over the Bulls 128-120. Julius Randle 31 points, 13 boards. Miami goes into Oklahoma City and takes out the Thunder 110-108. Tyler Hero with 35 points. A final in Dallas, the Cavs over the Mavericks 105-90. Donovan Mitchell 34 points. In Denver, the Nuggets 141, the Wizards 128. Jokic 43 points, 14 boards, and 8 assists. And in L.A. tonight, the Clippers over the Timberwolves 99-88. Paul George a triple-double, 17 points, 11 boards, and 11 assists. And that is your scoreboard report brought to you by A-L-N-A. All right. Any final thoughts, Burkhardt?
I'm just a little disturbed at how, fascinated Ralph is by my hair. It's kind of creepy, bro.
He's fascinated by it. It is creepy.
Yeah. Also, I promise you, Chad, I'd run circles around anybody he has on his landscaping crew.
I don't doubt that. That you're a strong guy. That much I do know. And I love having you here. I know that. And I really don't care how you have your hair. Long, short, or whatever. I don't care. It's your hair. Yeah. It's like one of those classic things in life. It's like people ask me things. It's like, well, what do I care? It's like, you do you. You do you, I'll do me, and then we just keep things rolling.
I just love how he always says, if you want to upgrade and get to TV, you're going to have to cut that hair. Like, hey, I had my own TV show with short hair. The hair didn't matter.
You worked at TV for how long? 10 years?
Yeah.
10 years. 10 years. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. Big thanks to the phone calls tonight. Terrific phone calls. Love the discussion. Love the debate. And the YouTube chat tonight was hopping. So we appreciate you jumping on board. Of course, we're going to be here for every fifth quarter live on our YouTube stream. And that is that. Our next Blazer broadcast is going to come up on Friday. The Blazers continue their 6-game road trip in Dallas against the Mavericks. Tip-off will be at 5:30 with game day starting at 3 right here in your home of the Blazers, 620 Rip City Radio. Your final score from AT&T Center in San Antonio, Texas tonight. Behind Damian Lillard's 37 points, the Trailblazers take out the Spurs 128-112. For Chris Burkhardt, I'm Chad Doing. Have a good night. We'll catch you on Friday.